Morning never came the way it should have. Kathrin stood by the small attic window, staring out at Shadow Mountain as the world below drifted in a heavy, blue-gray twilight. It should have been bright by now. Dawn in December was slow, yes, but not this slow. The sun seemed stuck behind a wall of thick clouds that refused to move. "It's holding the light back," Mikkel murmured from behind her. Kathrin turned. "The mountain?" "Yes." He leaned his shoulder against the doorframe, eyes fixed on the horizon. "It doesn't like what you saw last night. When the house showed you your mother, it pushed back." Kathrin hugged her arms around herself. "Can it do that? Control the light?" Mikkel nodded once. "It can touch anything that belongs to winter." A chill ran through her. Her father paced the attic floor, restless and exhausted. He hadn't slept. None of them had. "We are not staying in this house another day," he muttered. "We leave before nightfall. The moment you step off this property," Mikkel said without turning, "it will reach for her again. And staying keeps her safe?" Her father snapped. Mikkel finally looked at him. "It keeps her protected." "There's a difference." Kathrin watched the two of them. Her father trapped between fear and anger. Mikkel trapped between truth and secrets. She didn't know which was harder to carry. The journal lay open on the attic table. The page that had shown her mother's message was still faintly warm, as if the ink remembered being written. Kathrin brushed her fingers over the words. "My mother knew it would come for me," she whispered. "Yes," Mikkel said softly. "She knew I'd have the mark." He hesitated. "She hoped you wouldn't." That hurt more than Kathrin expected. "What happens now?" she asked. Mikkel stepped closer to the window. "Now it learns what you fear, and what you want." Kathrin stiffened. "Why would I want?" "Because desire is easier to pull than fear," Mikkel said quietly. "Fear makes you fight. Desire makes you walk willingly." She swallowed. "What could I possibly want that the mountain could use?" He opened his mouth, paused, then shook his head. "Not yet." That was becoming a theme with him. Kathrin left the window and descended into the hallway. Something felt different today. Heavier, like the house was bracing for impact. The air had a weight to it she couldn't name. Her father followed. "Kathrin, please, don't trust him blindly." She turned. "He's the only one who knows what's happening." "Yes, and he's also the only one who refuses to explain everything." She didn't answer. Mostly because he wasn't wrong. They reached the kitchen, where the morning light still hadn't broken through. The lamps flickered gently, not from weakness, but rhythmically like breathing. The house was awake. Kathrin touched the table absently, and froze. A thin layer of frost had formed beneath her fingertips, not on the whole table, just where her hand touched. Her father stared. "Kathrin?" Mikkel descended the stairs quickly. "Did it happen again?" She held out her hand. Frost bloomed along her skin, a delicate branching pattern, identical to the mark on her wrist, but spreading wider now. "I didn't do anything," she whispered. "I didn't even think anything." "You don't have to think," Mikkel said. "The mark reacts to your surroundings. To the mountain. To danger," he exhaled slowly. "And it's reacting now." The lights flickered again, sharper this time. The house groaned. Something outside scraped across the snow. Kathrin's breath caught. What was that? Mikkel moved to the window but didn't pull the curtain aside. "Stay behind me." Her father stepped beside Kathrin protectively. The scraping came again, slow, dragging, deliberate. Not footsteps, not an animal, something heavier, something pulling weight across frozen ground. Kathrin felt her heartbeat climb into her throat. "It's outside the house?" "No," Mikkel said. The scraping stopped. Silence fell so complete it felt unnatural. Then 3 soft knocks tapped against the outer wall. Not the door. The wall. Kathrin's mark flared icy blue. Mikkel's voice dropped to a whisper. "It knows exactly where you are." Her father reached for the curtain. "Don't," Mikkel said sharply. "If you look directly at it, it will see more." Kathrin swallowed hard. "Then what do we do?" Mikkel turned to her slowly. "You listen to the house." Before she could ask what that meant, the lamp above them flickered once, then pointed its light toward the hallway. A direction, a command. Kathrin grabbed the journal and followed the flickering glow. The house led them to the living room, to the same window where she had first sensed the presence last night. The mountain loomed beyond the glass, but this time, Shapes moved along its base. Tall, thin, almost human, but not. Kathrin's breath fogged the glass. Mikkel pulled her gently back. Those are not people. Her father's voice trembled. What are they? Echo walkers, Mikkel whispered. Shadows that separate from the mountain when it wants to search for someone. Kathrin felt her blood freeze. They're here for you, he added softly. The walkers shifted, drifting closer, not walking, but gliding through the snow like their legs didn't belong to them. Kathrin clutched her wrist. The mark pulsed in frantic warning. The house groaned loudly, walls tightening inward, a protective cry. The walkers stopped, as if listening, then slowly, unnervingly, their heads turned toward the house. Mikkel's jaw clenched. It's begun, Kathrin whispered. What has? He looked at her, eyes full of the truth he had been afraid to voice. The mountain isn't calling you anymore. He swallowed hard. It's hunting you. The echo walkers stood perfectly still at the tree line, their shapes wavering like heat mirage shadows even in the freezing air. They had no faces, only smooth, pale surfaces where features should have been, bodies too long, arms hanging too low. Their outlines flickered in and out, as if reality couldn't decide whether they belonged in it. Kathrin felt the house tighten around her, every board groaning under invisible strain. The warmth in the walls pulsed, pushing outward in waves. They can't cross onto the property, Mikkel said, trying to sound confident. Not while the house is awake. Her father shook his head. Awake or not, those things shouldn't exist. They exist because it's looking for her, Mikkel said softly. Kathrin hugged herself, her breath shallow. Why does it need them? It can't reach you directly during daylight, Mikkel said. So it sends what it can. Echo walkers are its eyes. Kathrin swallowed. Then? Can they see me now? No, Mikkel said quickly. Not unless... He stopped. Not unless what? Her father demanded. Mikkel exhaled. Not unless the mark answers them. Kathrin stared down at her wrist. The faint frost lines under her skin glowed softly, almost like a pulse, synchronizing with the walker's stillness outside. Her father stepped protectively in front of her. Cover it. She tugged her sleeve down, but the glow shimmered faintly through the fabric. Outside, one of the walkers lifted its head. Slowly, deliberately. Kathrin gasped. It felt that. Mikkel's jaw tightened. Don't react. Don't think toward it. That's not exactly something I can control, she snapped. A low vibration rolled across the snow, like distant thunder, but coming from the earth itself, the mountain. The walkers straightened in unison, their bodies stiffening at the sound. Mikkel grabbed Kathrin's arm. We need to get away from the window. Her father pulled the curtains shut instantly. The room dimmed. The house hummed a warning. Kathrin pressed the journal to her chest, feeling the pages tremble faintly, as if the book too was listening. Her father turned to Mikkel. If they're its eyes, what are they waiting for? Mikkel hesitated before answering. For the moment, her defenses weakened, for emotion sharp enough to break the house's hold. What emotion? Kathrin whispered. Mikkel met her gaze. Fear or longing? Kathrin felt her stomach drop. Longing? Why would longing matter? He opened his mouth, stopped himself, then looked away. Her father stepped forward. No more secrets. What do you know about my daughter that you're not telling us? Mikkel ran a hand through his hair, visibly torn. This isn't the time. It is exactly the time. The house creaked violently as if disagreeing or warning. Kathrin tightened her grip on the journal. Just tell me. Mikkel finally faced her, his expression raw. The mountain calls to the strongest part of a person. Whatever is deepest in them. Some people have fear at their core. Some have anger. Some have emptiness. Kathrin's throat tightened. And me? Mikkel's voice dropped. You have longing. For what? She breathed. His silence was answer enough. Her heart skipped. He looked as if saying it aloud might break something fragile between them. But before he could speak, the journal throbbed in her hands. A soft, warm pulse. Then another. The pages fluttered open by themselves, stopping near the middle of the book. Ink appeared. Fresh ink, curling into lines of her mother's handwriting. Kathrin's breath hitched. What does it say? Her father asked. Kathrin read aloud, voice trembling. If the mark awakens in her, the house will show her her heart's first truth. And the mountain will try to use it before she understands it. Her father frowned. First truth? What does that mean? Ink spread further across the page, revealing more. Do not let longing guide her steps. Longing is the easiest door to open. Kathrin closed the journal quickly, chest tight. That's why it calls so gently, Mikkel whispered. It doesn't want to frighten you. It wants you to come willingly. Outside, the echo walkers shifted again, their heads turning sharply toward the house, as if reacting to the journal itself. Kathrin flinched. They heard that. Mikkel stepped between her and the window. The mountain hears everything tied to your bloodline. Her father pulled Kathrin close. We're leaving. I don't care what you say. We're leaving now. Mikkel didn't raise his voice, but his words cut through the room like a blade. You walk one step past the fence and it will know exactly where she is. Kathrin's father glared. How is staying safer? Mikkel pointed toward the walls. Because the house is fighting for her. As if on cue, every lamp flared to life at once, bright, warm, almost blinding. The heat in the house rose suddenly. Frost melted instantly from the windows. The walkers stopped moving. They shivered, shadows flickering rapidly, their forms unraveling like smoke caught in wind. Then, one by one, they dissolved into the air. Kathrin gasped. The house repelled them. Mikkel nodded slowly. For now. Her father exhaled shakily. Good, that means it can protect her. But Mikkel shook his head. It means the mountain sent scouts before making its next move. Kathrin felt her pulse hammer. What's the next move? Mikkel didn't answer right away. He walked to the window, pushed the curtain aside just enough to look outside, then let it fall closed again. His expression was pale. Worried, resolved. It's not just hunting anymore, he said quietly. He turned to Kathrin. It's preparing to claim you. Kathrin backed away from the window, pulse pounding. The air in the room felt heavier, tighter, as if the house itself was holding its breath. Mikkel didn't move. He stood absolutely still, eyes locked on the fading shapes, outside as if waiting for confirmation of something he already feared. Her father stepped forward and grabbed Kathrin's arm. We're leaving. I don't care what's out there. I'm not letting this thing take my daughter. The house answered with a deep, resonant groan that vibrated through the floorboards. Her father froze. Mikkel, Kathrin whispered. Why did it react like that? Because it knows, Mikkel said quietly, that leaving now would be the worst thing you could do. Her father snapped. How could staying be better? Because, Mikkel said slowly, turning to face him, the mountain can't fully claim her, while she's inside the boundary of this house. It can call her, pull her, whisper to her, but it can't reach her. His gaze darkened. Outside it can. Kathrin's father opened his mouth to argue, then shut it. Fear was finally overriding denial. Kathrin clutched the journal to her chest. Mikkel, you said the mountain wants to claim me. What does that actually mean? He hesitated, too long. Mikkel, her voice cracked. Tell me. He looked at her as if the words themselves tasted bitter. It wants you to open the entrance. And once you do, it wants you to belong to it. Belong? She whispered. Your will, he said softly. Your mind. Your choices, everything. Her father swore under his breath and rubbed his face. How do we stop this? How do we protect her? Mikkel didn't look at him. He looked at her. That's the problem, he said. Only she can. Kathrin's stomach twisted. I don't even know what I am. You're still you, Mikkel said firmly. But you're connected to something ancient, something that recognizes your bloodline. That's why it marked you. Her father stepped between them. And where do you fit in? You act like you know everything, but you keep holding back. Mikkel's jaw tightened. I'm holding back what will hurt her before she's ready. I think she deserves to know, her father shot back. Not if knowing makes her break, Mikkel said. And there was something in his voice Kathrin hadn't heard before. Raw fear. Kathrin raised a hand. Stop, both of you! They fell silent. She turned to Mikkel. Earlier you said the mountain preys on longing. Mine. What does that mean? What exactly am I longing for? Mikkel swallowed hard. Her father looked between them. What is he talking about, Kathrin? She shook her head. I don't know. But she did. She felt it sitting under her ribs, deep and warm and terrifying. Something shifted behind Mikkel's eyes, an emotion, so clear it made her breath hitch. Mikkel? She whispered. He looked away. The mountain feels everything you feel. If you want something deeply, Enough, someone deeply enough. It uses that softness to reach you, to pull you toward what you think you need. Her heart stumbled. Her father's voice sharpened. Someone? Mikkel flinched as if struck. Kathrin's lungs tightened. Mikkel, is the mountain using you against me? He froze. And that was her answer. She took a small step back, needing air, needing space, needing anything but the weight of what that meant. Before she could speak, a sudden crack split the air, the sound of ice fracturing through wood. The lamp above them burst in a spray of sparks. Kathrin cried out and stumbled backward as frost shot across the ceiling, racing down the walls in jagged lines. The temperature plummeted so fast her breath turned white. Her father grabbed her shoulders. Kathrin! But it wasn't coming from the outside. This cold came from her. She looked down at her hands. Frost crawled across her skin, blooming outward like crystalline vines. The mark on her wrist flared violently, brighter than ever, bright enough to illuminate the entire room in a pulsating, icy glow. Mikkel stepped toward her. Kathrin, listen to me, stay calm. I'm not doing this, she cried, shaking. You are, he said softly. Because you're overwhelmed. I'm not. You felt fear, longing, confusion, all at once. The mark reacts to emotion. The house amplifies it. The frost pulsing under her skin spread across the floor, crackling as it went. The boards groaned but held. The house wasn't afraid of her. It was matching her, reflecting her, trying to steady her. Kathrin squeezed her eyes shut. Make it stop, please make it stop. Her father tried to pull her close, but the frost surged, forcing him back. Mikkel reached her first. He cupped her face in both hands, careful, gentle, grounding. Look at me, he whispered. Her eyes snapped open. His were right there, steady, warm, pulling her out of the storm inside her chest. Breathe with me, she tried. Her heartbeat raced too fast. Frost flared again around her ankles. Kathrin, he murmured, leaning closer, forehead brushing hers. You're not alone. You're stronger than this. I've seen you fight harder than anyone. The frost slowed. The mark dimmed. Her breath steadied. Finally, the ice receded. She collapsed into Mikkel's arms, shaking uncontrollably. Her father stared, pale and shaken. What was that? Mikkel held her carefully. The first manifestation of her power. Kathrin swallowed. I don't want it. You don't have a choice, he said softly. But you do have control, or you will. Her father stepped closer, desperate. Is this going to keep happening? Yes, Mikkel said bluntly. Until she learns to manage it. And how long will that take? That depends, Mikkel said quietly, looking down at her. On what she's willing to face. Kathrin closed her eyes. She already knew the answer. Everything. Kathrin sat on the couch, legs pulled up, a blanket around her shoulders more for comfort than warmth. The frost had melted from the floor, but she could still feel it under her skin, like a memory that hadn't finished fading. Her father hovered near the doorway, glancing between her and Mikkel, as if unsure which one worried him more. You should have told us this could happen, he said finally. Mikkel didn't flinch. Would you have come here if I had? No, her father said. Then you would have been out there, Mikkel replied, nodding toward the window. With nothing between her and the mountain, silence settled, heavy. Kathrin ran a thumb over the edge of the journal. You said the house amplifies what I feel. So when I lost control, it responded, Mikkel said. It matched you. Tried to stabilize you by pushing back against what you couldn't handle alone. That didn't feel like stabilizing, she muttered. It felt like drowning, her father added quietly. Mikkel exhaled. The first time always does. That caught Kathrin. The first time for you too? His gaze flicked away. Yes. Her father frowned. You've done that? Frozen things? Not ice, Mikkel said. Not like her. But the mountain's mark chooses how it speaks through each person. My mother heard voices in the wind. I see futures in places I shouldn't. Kathrin stared. Futures? Pieces, he corrected. Moments. They don't always make sense. But I saw you standing in this house, holding that journal years before you came back. A chill ran through her. And you didn't tell anyone? Who would have believed me? He asked softly. The house creaked above them as if agreeing. Her father rubbed the bridge of his nose. So what now? Do we just sit here and let this thing hunt my daughter until it gets bored? It won't get bored, Mikkel said. It will get smarter. That's not helping, Kathrin said. He crouched in front of her, voice gentler. You asked what your role is in all this. Here it is. You don't just endure what the mountain sends. You answer it. With what? She whispered. With yours. My what? Your mark, he said. Your will, your power. The house chose you too, through your mother. It will back you if you let it. The journal warmed in her hands, as if agreeing. She opened it slowly. The pages turned themselves again, fluttering forward until they landed near the end. A small folded paper was tucked between two final pages. She blinked. This wasn't here before. Her father stepped closer. What is it? Kathrin pulled it free, careful not to tear it. The paper was thinner than the rest, softer with age. She unfolded it. There, in her mother's precise handwriting, was a simple drawing, a house, a mountain, and a narrow line connecting them. Underneath one sentence, she will be the bridge. Kathrin's throat tightened. What does that mean? Mikkel's eyes darkened. It means you're not just caught between them. You connect them. I don't want to connect them, she whispered. Neither did your mother, he said. But she understood something no one else did. The mountain cannot just be sealed away. It has roots everywhere. If you push it down in one place, it rises in another. Her father shook his head. You're saying she wanted this? No, Mikkel said quietly. She accepted that someone would have to stand in the middle. Someone the house and mountain both recognized. Kathrin stared at the drawing again, the line between the two shapes. Why me? Mikkel didn't answer. The house did. The lamp above them flickered once, then shone steady. The floor thrummed beneath her feet, a slow, reassuring rhythm. For the first time, it didn't feel like fear. It felt like support. The mark on her wrist pulsed in answer, syncing with the house's rhythm. She realized slowly that the house wasn't just protecting her from the mountain. It was leaning on her too. I don't know how to be a bridge, Kathrin whispered. I don't even know how to stop freezing things when I panic. You'll learn, Mikkel said. But not if you keep pretending this isn't happening. Her father squeezed the back of the couch. She is 16, and the mountain doesn't care, Mikkel replied. It would have taken her at 10 if it could. That shut him up. Kathrin closed the note and slipped it back into the journal. If I'm the bridge, what does the mountain want from me that the house doesn't? Mikkel hesitated. The mountain wants you to open, he said. And the house? He looked at her, eyes soft. The house wants you to choose. A strange, quiet strength flickered inside her. Tiny, fragile, but real. She took a breath. Then I choose not to belong to it. Outside, distant thunder rolled over Shadow Mountain. Not from the sky, from inside the stone. The sound made the glass rattle faintly. The house stiffened, boards tightening. The mountain heard that, Mikkel said. Good, Kathrin whispered. Her wrist burned cold. Another line of ink appeared on the page beside the drawing, forming slowly, gracefully, as if written by an invisible hand. Her mother's hand. If she ever chooses herself, the mountain will rage. If she ever chooses them, the mountain will feast. She must learn to choose both and neither. Kathrin's head spun. That doesn't even make sense. It will, Mikkel murmured. Her father looked utterly lost. I don't understand any of this. Neither did she, Mikkel said, nodding toward the journal, when she first heard it. Kathrin closed the book gently. The house hummed, low and steady now. Outside, the last of the echo walkers vanished into the darkness at the foot of the mountain, but the mountain itself did not retreat. It loomed listening, waiting, and when Kathrin finally allowed herself to look out the window again, the clouds above the peak had shifted. For the first time since she arrived, the shape in them looked disturbingly like an eye.